Long kick, inside 50. Gilchrist drops it over 55. Looking at the next premiership player for the Baldwin Football Club, number 65, B. Waterworth. No, it's definitely not the next premiership player for the Baldwin Football Club. This is EFL TV, all thanks to Ferntree, Gully, Holden and HSV, where driving and local footy means a great deal. It is freezing out here at Baldwin Park tonight. Lesson certainly learned. Never tip against Baldwin and never make Luke Barker angry ever again. But it's great to be out here at Baldwin Park. And Frosty Bed's made his way out here as well. Let's get stuck into the agenda, Frosty. Let's have a look at Division 1. And the reason I'm out here tonight is because I tipped against Baldwin and Luke Barker put a little wager out there. So I've got to be in the Baldwin jumper for the entire program. But how good were Baldwin and Vermont on the weekend? Well, how good was Baldwin against Vermont on the weekend? Just clinical, so organised. It was almost the perfect performance.
Oh, it was. They were just super in every facet of the game. They outplayed the Eagles in every way possible. They outmuscled them, they outthought them, and they outclassed them in skill as well. It's just hard to see who now can match it with these Baldwin Tigers. They have to be undeniably the flag favourites heading into the second half of the year.
Well, you meant one team we didn't mention there was Vermont, who they beat, obviously, and it's a fascinating round of Division 1 action because second place third, it's Vermont against Noble Park. Fourth place fifth, Norwood against Lilydale. And sixth v seventh, it's South Croydon against Royal. This is the biggest round of Division 1 so far this year.
Oh, it has to be. And for teams like South Croydon and Roval, one of them will take that step up and perhaps challenge Lilydale for a spot in the top 5. Whoever wins that game is going to be the number 1 contender, so to speak. So it's going to be a fascinating round. As you said, Noble Park play Vermont. Vermont have to bounce back. It's going to be hard after that performance on the weekend. But Noble Park, they haven't put a foot wrong as well. So it's going to be an absolutely riveting round of footy.
Let's have a look at the Division 2 ladder, and a funny team that sits down the bottom there, Frosty, is Bayswater. They have got an unbelievable percentage, but they still find themselves towards the bottom of Division 2. After last weekend's win over the Waverley Blues, you think they're pretty clear of relegation now. But one man who certainly thinks that they're well clear of relegation is Daniel Rajab, who's come across from the Northern Footy League this year and has joined Bayswater. And Braden Ingram caught up with him ahead of Multicultural Round this weekend.
Thanks, Ben. Daniel, 4 wins, 8 losses for the season. You can't make finals. Would you say it's a disappointing year or just more of a development year for you blokes?
I think we do have a young sort of side, and I think, knowing from what the boys told me last year, we've lost a few senior players. So with experience, it was tough to get through a few games. But look, I think, we're building and we'll be getting somewhere soon. I think we'll be all right.
And for those that don't know, you usually play in the midfield, a little bit of resting, half forward. New to the club this year, as you mentioned, from the Northern Footy League. How are you enjoying the club?
Yeah, they're a good bunch of boys. They're looking after me here, and can't say anything bad about the club. I'm happy. They're a good bunch of fellas, so yeah, all good.
So you've kicked 10 goals for the season, been in the best on 6 occasions, 2 best ons, and one of those was against Waverley last week. Is there something about the ground that suits you?
I like open spaces. I think just playing alongside with the boys, they're helping me out. They're getting me into the games, and you're only as good as your team. So yeah, the teammates, they're doing well. Is
fitness or hard running certainly an aspect that is part of your game?
Yeah, I do try to work on fitness, strength, and conditioning, especially in the pre-season. So I would say that could be a strength.
Now, the win over the Waverley Blues, 55 points last week, and then you had the win over Donvale before that. Do you think the wins can help spark at least a resurgence towards the end of the year and maybe a good goings-on to going into 2014? Yeah, we needed 2 in a row. We haven't been able to string 2 in a row for quite some time now, so I think that gives us confidence, and with the young fellas especially, it's good for them, and hopefully we can string together a few more. I think we will. And you mentioned those young fellas. You've got quite a talent. I mean, is you know, the Sean Carlos, Hayden Schroeder, Cam McLeod, and yourself, you're quite a young fella as well. I mean, is this, you feel there's a lot of players coming through that are really going to strengthen the side?
Yeah, add Mitch Brereton to that, you know, a couple of other boys. I think just with experience they are going to get better, and I think we'll be able to just to win those close games that, you know, we've lost, you know, a handful of games just under a kick, and, you know, with experience I think we'll be able to get over the line in those sorts of games.
Got Mooroolbark this week, a bit of a test, especially away from home. I mean, do you think you're a good chance it's going to be a tough game?
We matched it with them last time. I think we just didn't make most of our opportunities from what I remember last time we played them, but I think you know, I think we're confident going in after a couple of wins. We'll be all right.
And multicultural around this week. I mean, do you get a respect out on the field and really enjoy going out there each time?
Of course. I mean, I've been playing footy for a long time. You know, you always get your incidents where, you know, something slips out of the tongue from an opposition player or someone out in the field, but you get used to it, mate. That's what happens.
And what is your exact heritage?
I'm of Lebanese background.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And just quickly, the name Doc, where does, I hear that's what they all call you around here. That's what you love to be called. Where does that one come from?
It's just the initials, mate. The DR is the initials, so that's where the doctor comes from.
Very nice. Well, Daniel, I really appreciate your time here on EFL TV, mate. Good luck for the rest of the season against Mooroolbark this week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's have a look at the Division 3 ladder, Frosty, and a lot of top 5 teams playing against bottom-ranked teams this week. So an important week for those top teams to really solidify their positions in the top 5.
Well, this is a stage of the year where you can't afford to drop a game that everybody expects you to win. There's a lot of those sort of games on this weekend. Probably the big game, though, is Wanturna South at Basin, where we don't have those sort of top 2 teams, top team against a bottom-ranked team. Wanturna South have to win that game, but the others, they have to be on their guard as well. They can't afford to lose a game that they should win. They might just open the door for a team like Heathmont sitting outside that top 5.
And as we have a look at the Division 4 ladder, Frosty, a very interesting radio game coming up on Saturday afternoon. Surrey Park hosting Park Orchards. The first time the radio team's been out to Surrey Park in over 5 years, maybe 6 years. We've lost count, it's been that long. But we're thoroughly looking forward to seeing Surrey Park go about their business. And it's a massive day, not only for the Panthers, but also for the Sharks.
We'll really find out how much the Surrey Park side have improved. They win this game, they put themselves right in contention to play finals. They've got Cultrera breathing right down their hammer now outside that top 5. Surrey Park Orchards, they're not done with just yet. They only just went down to to Coldstream on the weekend. So this is a game with huge implications for who gets that 5th spot in Division 4.
Well, it's half-time here on EFL TV, Frosty, and it was a raging success, the first edition of the Better Half-Time. Of course, thank you to Georgina Kerr, the wife of Ryan McMahon. But this week, Matty Vander Arkus heads out and has a chat to the wife of a very well-known player down at the Basin. This is Sarah Cultrera, wife of Andy.
I'm Maddie Vantarakis and we're here again for yet another Better Half-Time, and I'm here this week with Basin footballers Andy Cultrera's wife, Sarah Cultrera. And, well, Sarah, how is Andy around the house as opposed to around the football club?
Oh, he's pretty good. He does pretty much everything. He cleans, cook. Well, he hates. He doesn't cook. He watches Hamish. He does laundry. His family is European, and so when we first moved out, that was not the case, and it took me a little bit of training, but he's very good.
Well, that is good to hear. We were speaking before your young son, his name is Hamish, and for those of you out there, that makes a Hamish and Andy sort of duo. And Sarah, how did that come about?
Well, we couldn't agree on a name at all, and I was watching the Sunday footy show, of all things, which I don't usually watch, but I was pregnant, so blame hormones, and I yelled out, "What about this?" You know, and I had to go with Brendan because that's a family name, and he was going away for a country trip, and he came back and he said, "I like it, it's great." And then we told my family, and the whole family like, "Yeah, that's great." And 2 days later, my sister said, "No, you can't." So I was determined, that was it. And for some reason, we thought we were having a girl, which had no scientific basis whatsoever. We just believed we were. And then when they said, "Oh, it's a boy," he said, "Oh, he looks just like a Hamish." And I was exhausted. So that's what I'm running with.
Oh, that seems a good enough reason. And how is Andy with Hamish? Is it a lot of football sort of things with the two boys, or, you know, are there other things as well that they like to do together?
Look, he's very hands-on and has been since day one. And Hamish loves footy. He loves all sports pretty much. So there's lots of kick-to-kick going around, and he's actually got his own little Basin jumper that he loves to wear when he goes down to the footy, which is very cute. But he'll dance around the house with him he'll probably hate I said that, but we'll put the Pandora on, the Wiggles or whatever, and off he goes, and he's got a mean guitar solo.
Now, how are you guys down at the footy club when you're watching Andy play? I know he hasn't played the last 2 weeks, so he has been on the sidelines. How is he now, sort of only being able to watch the boys and not necessarily participate?
He gets naturally quite frustrated, but I thought he would be much worse in previous times when he's put a hamstring or whatever. He's been a bit like a bear with a sore head. But the last couple of years, especially in the last 3 years since we've had Hamish, he knows that I don't have much tolerance for it. So there's not much sympathy. If you hurt yourself, look, I'm really sorry, and that's terrible, but you don't get to be a big grumpy bum about it. So, and he's pretty good. He still goes and does his training and his physio and whatnot, and he's just disappointed more than anything. He just gets very frustrated, and he feels like he's letting the team down, but he knows that it's just got to take time. So.
And that's understandable, but I guess you can't be much of a grumpy pants with a 2.5-year-old running around the house.
No, you really can't.
And how often do you and your son get down to the footy club to watch Andy? And do you sort of cringe when he gets tackled, or when he kicks a goal, do you cheer extra loudly?
It's a little bit ironic I'm doing this because he would say that I'm a terrible footy wife. We have a deal that we go to all the home games as much as possible, but I work full time, and there's lots of kids parties that you have to go to on a Saturday, so we try to get to as many games as we can, and because Hamish just loves it so much, and so lots of cheering, but Hamish will cheer for anybody, so sometimes it's the opposition, and we just have to try and make sure we stand in the right spot, but he really enjoys it, and it adds another element, I guess, for me. I've always enjoyed watching him play it. I was saying before, it's different footy, the EFL, as opposed to having watched the amateurs. It's a bit more full on, I guess, a bit rougher in parts. But so the first time I watched him, I was like, oh my God, he's not coming back. That's it. But came home with a nice shiner at the start of the season, which was pretty, but it's part of the game. Just got to take it.
Well, are there any embarrassing things that he likes to do around the house, or any really bad habits? I know that the Basin logo is a bed. Does he, sort of go into hibernation during winter? Doesn't really help out, or snores really loudly, or is there anything you can share with us?
I don't know. Probably his taste in music would be, and it's not so much about the Wiggles. Hamish will enjoy when I put on Foo Fighters or Nirvana, and then Andy will put on Timmatic or Taylor Swift or something like that on his iPod. So we have a very different taste in music. So he's appalling, and I would argue that mine is quite good, and Hamish inherits that from me. But he definitely gets his ball handling skills from his father. So it's probably the best of two worlds, I guess.
It's probably a good trade-off. Can you explain to us the love of Taylor Swift?
No. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't.
That also probably makes quite sense. I don't know many, men pushing 30 and over 30 that are like Taylor Swift, pushing 40.
Better, yeah. He said the other day that, they're talking about signing up again. What do you think? And I sort of rolled my eyes and said, you said that this was the last year, whatever. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. And I was telling my sister, and she said, he's had more farewells than John Farnham, hasn't he? Every year's the last year. This is the last time. I promise it's the last time. It's like, sure, whatever. But I don't know what he's going to do when he doesn't play footy, so it's probably a good thing that he does.
That is a good point. And, well, that has been the better half time. We have been with the lovely Sarah Cultrera, the partner and wife of Andy Cultrera from the Basin Football Club. And, it's been a pleasure for yet another week. So thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Another big edition of EFL TV Play of the Week coming up, Frosty. Before we get stuck into it, though, let's have a look at last week's winner. And it was a man from this club, in fact, the big number 8, the man who goes around with plenty of facial hair, took last week's Play of the Week. Congratulations to Baldwin's Rod Crow, one of the best local footy defenders going around, no doubt about that one. Time to have a look at this week's EFL TV's Play of the Week. A, B, C and D. We've been inundated like last week. It's catching on, and these guys were catching balls. check these out.
Xavier Barry Murphy kicks it inside forward 50. Daniel Mendez is at the back of the pack. He's a clever footballer. He gets it on the second bite. He swings around. What a goal that is!
Nice.
That is one of the best goals you will see. Daniel Mendez, super play.
Tell the Luke Barker wants to do something very fancy before the game's in. Oh, what a fly! Over the top, magnificent.
There you have it, Frosty. Another edition of EFL TV done and dusted from a very, very chilly Baldwin SEN Park. Certainly learnt the lesson, not tipping against Baldwin for the rest of the season. I don't think you will be either.
I learnt my lesson in grand final day last year, Ben, having to force to shave the goatee from my face. But I tell you what, they don't call me Frosty for no reason out here. It's very, very cold out here at the Baldwin Footy Club tonight.
It certainly is, and it won't be cold out at Surrey Park Reserve on Saturday because that's the radio game. Surrey Park v Park Orchards from Surrey Park Reserve from 1 till 6 p.m. on 98.1 FM and, of course, EFL.org.au. Frosty, looking forward to seeing you out there on Saturday afternoon. Actually, you're not going to be there. You're taking the week off.
Oh, well, I've got some other commitments this weekend, but I'll be back the week after.
Looking forward to seeing you on EFL TV next week. We'll catch you then.